Hey everyone, welcome back to Impossibly Kosher. Today we're taking the Italian classic bolognese sauce and making it in the Instant Pot pressure cooker. The results are going to be unbelievably tender, fragrant, delicious, and all in just 1 to 2 hours instead of 8. So, let's get cooking. Bolognese sauce. But wait, before we get started, I'm outside today, it's a beautiful day, so you may hear noise from the cars, you may hear birds and chirping and dogs barking, just giving you a heads up. Anyways, where were we? Bolognese sauce, a classic Italian dish, originating from Bologna in Italy. It's a rich and savory meat sauce that pairs perfectly and traditionally with pasta. And today, I'm switching up the authentic way of making it on the stove over a long period of time, 6 to 8 hours, and I'm speeding it up with the Instant Pot pressure cooker. It's gonna save tons of time, it's gonna give me just as much flavor, and it's gonna be really super efficient. Now, what makes a bolognese sauce so special in an Instant Pot? It's the pressure cooking. The way a pressure cooker works is it traps steam inside the pot, which raises the pressure and the temperature, causing the food to cook faster, giving you a much more tender meat, and flavors that are able to blend together much faster than you would have normally, cooking it on a pot. So you have things blending more effectively. The high pressure in the pressure cooker allows for the meat fibers to break down, causing the sauces to be able to penetrate deeper into the meat. That's how you get a deeper flavor with an Instant Pot or with a normal pressure cooker. In addition, by cooking it in an enclosed environment, you're keeping in a lot of that moisture, a lot of those flavors, a lot of that aroma, and it's all getting cooked together at a high temperature and high pressure, so you can't lose. Now, before we start, here's a quick rundown of all the ingredients that you're gonna need for this recipe. Starting off, of course, with the Instant Pot pressure cooker, 1 large carrot, 1 large celery stalk, and 1 large onion that are all gonna be chopped up, 3 to 5 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, and please, use a good one. It makes a difference, trust me. 1 cup of wine, red or white, and stick around until the end. I'll explain the benefits of the red wine and the white wine and the different flavor profiles they impart to this dish. You're gonna need 1 to 1.5 pounds of minced meat. I'm using beef, salt, pepper, 1.5 tablespoons of tomato paste, a good big can of tomato sauce or passata, 1 big can of whole peeled tomatoes, half a cup of water, and fresh basil. So let's get to it. First thing we're gonna do is slice up and chop our veggies. The celery and the carrots will go into one bowl, and the onion will go into another. These 3 ingredients are the base of the bolognese sauce, which make up a sofrito. The carrots add a hint of sweetness to the dish, and if you like yours a bit sweeter, add more carrots, while the celery lends a little bit of a fresh and bitterness to the taste, which gives a nice yin and yang. Starting off, you set your Instant Pot to saute mode on a medium heat. We give it a couple seconds to warm up, and we get in our extra virgin olive oil. Throw in the onions right away, and mix, mix, mix. We're gonna want those onions to cook down, not to brown. You're gonna wanna let them sweat out for about 5 minutes until they become translucent, kinda like this. And when they do look like that, it's time to add in your celery and your carrots. The carrots will take a little bit longer to soften up, maybe about 5 to 8 minutes. Keep mixing until you think that they're soft enough. So you add in half the cup of wine, and you're gonna wanna mix it in and let the alcohol start to evaporate for about 5 minutes. Once the alcohol is evaporated, we're gonna add in our ground meat. And with a wooden spoon, start breaking it up and mixing it regularly. You want it to cook completely through. And how do you know it's cooked through? Is when it has this grayish look to it. Once it does, add in salt and pepper, mix it in. The salt is gonna start to extract moisture from the meat, so you're gonna wanna let that reduce down. Should take no more than 3 minutes. Then you go ahead and add in the rest of the wine and let the alcohol evaporate again. The longer you leave it to evaporate more and more of that moisture, the sweeter flavor profiles from the wine that will impart to the meat, the stronger they become. Then you add in your tomato paste, you add in your tomato sauce or passata, your full canned tomatoes, and you give them a nice mix. Add in half a cup of water, the basil, fresh basil ideally, but if you don't have fresh basil, use dried, it'll be fine. Mix it really well, and then using the back of the spoon, break up those full tomatoes. Now you're gonna let it simmer for 10 to 15 minutes just to reduce some of that liquid that came out of the tomatoes, some of that water, but not most of it. So we've had some of that moisture reduce, and it's finally time to get the Instant Pot cover on. This is where the magic is gonna happen. The vent, you're gonna make sure that it's not on the venting mode, it's on sealed mode. We're gonna cancel whatever mode it's on, and we're gonna set it to pressure cook on a high pressure for 1 hour. Cooking under pressure is gonna soften the meat tremendously, and it creates an incredible blend of the flavors, all while not losing much moisture at all. When the timer goes off, you don't need to keep it on keep warm. Let it naturally release, meaning don't touch it, for 10 to 15 minutes. The pressure will slowly start to release inside the pot. When that 10 or 15 minute timer is done, then you switch the valve to venting mode. Be careful, it's gonna spit out a lot of steam. It's gonna be hot as heck, and it's gonna come out strong. You'll know that it's safe to touch the cover as soon as that little pin or safety valve drops back down. That means the pressure in the chamber is no longer strong enough to hold it up, so you can open up that cover. And the first thing you're gonna notice is those bubbles. Those bubbles, that fragrance, and that look. It's gonna smell incredible. Give it a good mix and check its consistency. It's expected that it's gonna be very liquidy. And if it's too watery for your liking, you put it back on saute mode on a low heat, and you let it reduce for 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, just until you get that consistency that you like. And before we wrap up, I want to share with you guys a couple tips and tricks that will help you elevate this entire game, especially in the Instant Pot. And by the way, if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Let me know how you liked it in the comment section. Any feedback, tips, tricks, and subscribe to the channel. Support the channel, guys. I'm trying to share as much awesome recipes as I possibly can. Every subscribe and like is highly appreciated. Number 1, when choosing your minced meat, choose a high quality minced meat. You can go with beef, veal, or even chicken if you want a leaner option. The pressure cooker will actually prevent it from drying out, so it will still stay really, really tender. Tip number 2, don't be afraid to try out different flavor profiles. If you like thyme and oregano and rosemary and garlic, go ahead and add them in. The classic Italians out there will tell you absolutely never do that, you never need to. Yes, it's true, you don't really need to, because this dish has an incredible flavor profile just on its own, but to each their own. Number 3, the wine. The wine you choose will actually influence, the end result of the bolognese sauce. Red wine will give a bolder, slightly richer flavor, and white will impart more a sweeter, delicate, lighter flavor to the entire bolognese sauce. Traditionally, a white wine is used, but like I mentioned before, use whatever you got. And the final tip, number 4, let's say you have too much, or you don't want to eat it right away, or you want to make it ahead of time. Go ahead and throw it in a Ziploc bag or in a sous vide bag, vacuum seal it, and get it in the freezer. It will stay just as good for months and months at a time. That way it's a quick dinner. You just take it out of the freezer, you put it in a big pot, put it on a medium heat, just let it simmer for 10 to 15 minutes, which will reduce some excess moisture that's caused by defrosting, tomatoes and meat and all that stuff. And there you have a quick dinner. I hope you liked that video. Let me know what you thought about it in the comment section. And stick around, check out different videos that we have. Here's one on the barbecue. Now it's summer season, a lot more awesome recipes coming up. From cooking on a yoder, using different pellets for smoky flavor. Check out like this one I made during the winter. I made a smoked salmon, a cold smoked salmon. That was quite fun. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.